Hello, guys. Welcome to Devil's Digest. Hope everyone's well. I've got a big smile on my face. I have just tweeted something, and I'm not sure whether to delete the tweet or not because I don't want to big myself up because it's this is a one-off. I have just received some exclusive news to the zero people that are currently in here. There's two people in here now. I think it's glitched. Uh, I've just received some exclusive news. Which will be public in exactly 2 hours from now. It will be public from someone that a certain fan channel mentioned today, and he's growing in followers and he's growing in his journalism. And he's not been on this channel before, but he's spoken to me before and he's willing to offer some information. And I'm not going to show you the person's name. He, just know his sort of tag, with Fabrizio Romano, it's here we go. With with whoever else, it's like here we go, or true, not true, etc. I'm going to show you two screenshots before we get into the news. Let me just get that up. Uh, it's finito, so he says it's finito, and he said he's asked me to send him the link to the stream. I think he's watching the stream. I will not say his name. Manchester United have told Dortmund they're going to pay the release clause. More meetings scheduled with Ten Hag this week to talk about the summer plans. So it's basically done, which we received this information this week. Today about this. Right. I'm with Gavin, obviously. How are you, Gavin?
I'm good, thanks. Been a really long but good day.
That's great to hear. It's great to hear. To the five people that are currently in here, and if you don't know, obviously, I am giving you some advice here. The reason why this is an earlier stream is because at 7 p.m. On Monday Night Football, Wayne Rooney's on Monday Night Football with Jamie Carragher. I'm not sure whether Gary Neville's going to be there. So I'm really excited to watch that. So I thought, let's do an earlier stream. And Gavin was very nice to say, let's do that. Now, the topics we're going to be getting into today are manager news, transfer news, Yap Stam quotes, and review of Leicester. Right, we'll get into the manager news. Just give me a second.
Obviously, just to start off as well, sending our thoughts out to LVG and everybody that's close.
Oh, I apologise. Yeah, I should have said that from the get go.
I put out a tweet basically saying they might not have worked out, but he did give us some absolutely amazing memories. I mean, that FA Cup win, yes, okay, he got sacked after it, but we, what we would give to have an FA Cup win.
Yeah, just as a human in general as well. Obviously, I want him to get better.
He was such a character to have, and I really hope that he can pull through and come out the other side. And yeah, thoughts with everybody.
It knocked me for six, that news last night. I should have said this from the get go. Obviously, we won't dwell on it too much. I've currently not got any prostate cancer sort of helplines in the chat in the description, and I should have put them in. So I do apologise to people. Obviously, make sure you check in and make sure your health is.
He refrained from telling his players because he didn't want it to affect the game.
I think I'm not. Well, I'm not gonna. Personally, I would have said. However, obviously, people are different. People deal with different things differently, and obviously, that is one of the hardest things in life to deal with in general, not just in football, just in life. So obviously, prayers out to Louis van Gaal and his family, condolences, and I hope he pulls through. Yeah, massively hope he pulls through. We're gonna get onto the transfer, the manager news. I can see Manchester United. This is from Samuel Luckhurst via the MEM podcast. I can see Manchester United signing at least 4 players. This is kind of transfer news, but also manager news. But certain incomings will be dependent on what the next manager makes of certain wantaways. This was from the 1st of April, so 3 days ago. Wow, it's the 4th of April already. I've just deeped that. Ten Hag is now the favourite for the Manchester United job, and further talks between him and Manchester United is scheduled, which obviously we've just spoken about then. and I was discussing today. We'll get into these two pieces of news first. I was discussing yesterday with my uncle when I was watching the Newcastle match. Surely United are not that tone deaf to not go with Ten Hag. Everybody wants Ten Hag. I wouldn't mind Pochettino by any stretch, but from what I can see, everybody wants Ten Hag. Now, I know obviously we don't want to get too excited before it's done. However, it seems to be progressing nicely. What's your thoughts? Are you excited?
Well, it depends who the club listen to. Do they listen to the fans and everybody who is shouting for Ten Hag, or do they listen to the ex-players, the legends, some of the media who are pushing for Poch? So there is still that chance. I'm not saying that they will, but there is still that outside chance that they will still go for Poch. But all the rumblings seem to be leading towards Eric Ten Hag, and I can't see how they don't go for him now. It's an open goal. It would be just like United and Bruno to miss an open goal. It would just be typical.
Indeed.
I really hope that they do it, and they need to do it. Or they need to make a decision, because they need to start talking about the summer. They need to try and get a bit of positivity out.
Yeah.
And although they might not be able to make a public statement as to who that signing is, who the manager is going to be, we will know. We'll still get a Fabrizio tweet. We'll still get the media putting out.
I think we already. I think at this point we already know, but I get what you're saying. It will be like literally done. Do you know what I mean? Just United just taking ages to announce it. This was from the 2nd of April. Eric Ten Hag is now the top candidate to become Manchester United manager. He is the number one option. He is allowed to leave for a little more than €2 million, which is his release clause. That's from Mike Vijay. Let's just get into the comments. Luca says, "Go on, Kian, pal. Hope you're well, Luca." CSM fan says, "Hi, Kian. Hi, mate. Hi, hello, dear. Hope you're really well." I won't get into who the person is that I've spoke to, by the way. Right, that's from Mike Vijay, which it's quite known how reliable he is for Ajax news. So then we've had today, Eric Ten Hag will be super happy. Sorry, this was last night. Eric Ten Hag will be super happy to become Manchester United's new manager. Ten Hag's feeling during the meeting was with United was positive, not just on United's side. He wanted to know things like the budget, potential signings, and how he will be backed on the market. And from a writer from the Manchester Evening News, we've had today, less than 2 hours ago, Eric Ten Hag to Manchester United is essentially a done deal. It does seem like it's happening, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And we need it to happen. The fan base need it to happen. The club need it to happen. It's the right manager to go for at the right time, so that we can then move our attention and shift it towards the summer, basically sounding out the players that we're hoping to get. You hear the way that Ranić was talking last night in the press conference, and with the likes of Ten Hag and the sort of scope of players that he's sort of looking at, it's so far away from what we've been doing. When Ollie came in, the vision was, we're not going to go for the Galacticos. We're not going to go and spend millions and millions and millions. We're going to bring in young, hungry, some British mostly with Ollie, but young and hungry, and develop them over a period of time. And it never really happened. Dan James was probably the only one that we could say fit that criteria. Everyone else since then has been a high price. I don't know. It's not really. It's a player rather than buying somebody that's going to fit the system. You're buying the player. You're not buying the player for the system. And I think with ETH and Ralph Ranick, I think them two working together, we can get excited.
There's also we've discussed on this on obviously Devil's Digest before about the hierarchy of United. Someone with close connections to the club, he's tweeted this publicly. I can show the tweet if needed. However, he's tweeted this publicly, saying basically that the structure of Manchester United is massively improved. This is from someone who was interviewed over the past. He's had his podcast for 15 years. Up to like from last week, he's interviewed Peter Schmeichel, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Andy Cole, Dwight York, Dennis Irwin, and he's interviewed all sorts of players and people linked to Manchester United. And he's saying that the hierarchy is improving year by year. He said it's a welcomed sort of change. I will read the tweet out when we get into the Yapstam news, as I feel it would be it's relevant to read out. However, I'm going to get into a few transfer news here, and some I'm a bit on the fence with right now. Jonathan Schrager on the 28th of March said Atletico made an offer in January to Manchester United for Diogo Dalot. They intend to go for him again in the summer. With Diogo Dalot, I think he's come on leaps and bounds, to be honest. But is he really that player what we need? Like, really? What do you think?
If I had a choice, I'd probably keep Dalot, sell AWB, but then bring in somebody who can sort of fight for the place with Dalot, because I don't think there's enough competition in that position. Yes, you've got AWB with his skill set, and yes, you got Dalot with his skill set, but we haven't really got any. I think we need a modern right back, because we need somebody who can run down the line over the shoulder of the winger and whip a crossing, but he is also defensively sound with their positioning and things like that. So if I was to sell anyone, it would be AWB, because I think Dalot has got a bit more about him progressively. Not perfect, obviously, but
he missed Ronaldo the other day to put them crosses into. It was very clear. He didn't have a good game. We've got some more transfer news about incomings as well, and we'll get into Dia's comment in a minute and everyone else's. So there's 3 tweets which I'm going to read out here from United reporter Rob Dawson from ESPN. Manchester United are exploring the possibility of including Anthony Martial to facilitate a move for Harry Kane. And then we've got, sorry, that's the same tweet again. And then you've got Tottenham's valuation of more than £100 million for Harry Kane is considered problematic, but there is hope Anthony Martial moving the other way, either in a separate deal or as part of the same agreement, would offset some of the cost. Would you welcome that move? Or I definitely would. I think everyone knows my thoughts on Kane.
If we structure it in that way, then yes. But if we sort of just throw the money, then I am a little bit more cautious about doing the deal. It's the same with Declan Rice. If we could, I mean, Lingard would have been perfect, all that, to have used in that, but we never did it. I don't want us to blow the budget on 2 players when we need more. And if we could do something with Martial where we could use him as part of the bid, that will bring down the value of the price of Kane, and I think you can't really turn it down. Okay, fair enough. Is he as prolific as he once was? Maybe not. Does he have an injury problem? You could say so, his ankle. But it's Harry Kane. I mean, he's a complete striker. He's good with the ball at his feet. He's good with his head. He's good at coming deep to get the ball. He's getting goals, assists. He is everything you want in a number 9. So if we can manufacture a deal where we use a player, then I'd be all over that.
Yeah, I agree with you there. To the 3 people that are currently in here, before I get into any comments, I've made the decision that I'm going to stop streaming from the end of the season. My heart actually hurts when I'm saying this because it does mean a lot. I'm going to stop streaming from the end of the season for the foreseeable future, possibly come back after Christmas, but for the foreseeable future. It's not been an easy decision to make. I did tweet about it. There's a small possibility that two other people like take over until I sort of come back, if I come back. But I'm not sure yet. I do want to say thank you to everyone, and let's try and go out with a bang. And thank you to Gavin as well. Obviously, the support you've shown me is immense. I do thank you so much. And this is not a snap decision. I have been contemplating this for a while. And it's just, I feel like it's the best decision in order for me to sort of better myself. I'm not ruling out not coming back. I'm not saying I'm never coming back. I'll never delete the channel. I'll never delete my Twitter. And I may delete the app, but I'll never delete the channel or the Twitter, because obviously it's there. I'll keep YouTube Studio if anyone wants to comment, and I get notifications when people comment on videos. If anyone wants to comment on videos, I'll have conversations with people there and things like that. I will mention this in basically every stream just to let people know. And by no way am I absolutely looking for attention or whatever. It's just so people know. I do want to thank everyone for the support though, and there will be the same streams up until the end of the season, except probably watch alongs at this point. But thank you everyone for the support, and thank you, Gavin.
Nightbot is going to be devastated.
Indeed, spamming every few minutes. Hold on. Timber, 20 years old. Anthony, I apologise if I've just darkened the mood. We'll bring it back up in a second, as we've got some quotes from the best ever centre back in the Premier League era. Timber, 20 years old. Anthony, 22 years old. These are the type of players Ten Hag wants. Thoughts on Shaw and Fred contract extension? I seen something small about that today. It didn't. It surprised me because it didn't hit like big news. It was like just went under the radar. Average players, but have done nothing to deserve it. Fred, I think he deserves it personally. Shaw,
I agree.
Last season he was amazing.
I mean, as a squad player of Fred, yes, definitely. And if Luke Shaw can find the form that he had last season, then yes, definitely. But as of right now, I can see why there's a little bit of indecision in the fan base with regard to them, because it just seems an odd time for them to be giving the extension when what have they done to warrant it, really? Fred, don't get me wrong. I mean, look at his goal scoring tally this season. So he's not been terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but is he the player that we want being box to box on a weekly basis?
If it was right, let's say we get just say a CDM. I'm not going to say Declan Rice because Declan Rice is apparently 150 million. Just CDM, and then so CDM and Bruno obviously, and then there's a gap there. So that box to box player, who would your box to box player be?
Well, if it's going to be Ten Hag, then you'd expect Donny to at least be given a chance to try and claim a place. And then I'd have Fred as a sort of understudy, because Pogba's definitely going to go. He is. He ain't staying. If he stays, then he's staying for the money. He ain't staying to win trophies.
He would have signed the contract already if he was staying. Let's be honest. And the other day, I don't know whether it reflected on the telly. In Old Trafford for sure, and obviously I can only speak from where I was. To me, it looked like Pogba he's done. He's already mentally checked out.
Yeah, but when you see Fred play for Brazil, he plays that box to box, and there's a reason they pick him. Brazil. When you think of that team, you think of the players that they've had, and they pick Fred. And we, as a United fan, sort of go, "Wait, what? You pick Fred?" Now, don't get me wrong, his touch is terrible. His, passing can be a little bit off, but he does have an ability to play, and I do think we're going to need people like him. Sir Alex used players like him. Squads need players like him. And if you were asking me right now whether it's him or McTominay, I probably would go with Fred.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
He's struggling a bit at the moment. He doesn't seem to be. I mean, you put him in that box-to-box role, then maybe we get McTominay. But I don't know.
I just feel like saying right now McTominay is just shit. Like disappointed. Proper disappointed. Disappointed in the whole team, to be honest. I'm ready to walk away from football after this season, honestly. They've drove me away. Delo is very average. I can't lie. I'm not sure if he's average. David Moyes said Rice isn't for sale, but I'm going to take it back to our previous manager. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said Ashley Young wasn't for sale. He said Chris Smalling wasn't for sale. He said Alexis Sanchez wasn't for sale, and people kicked off. It's to keep the value of that player up, especially Declan Rice, who's one of the most marketable players in especially in England right now, if not the world. I see a player in Delo. Technically,
why do they want to keep him? Of course, they'd want to keep him.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly.
If they can deter,
better than us.
Yeah, if they could deter other teams from coming in and getting him, they want to keep him. So
if they keep Rice and Bowen this summer, that's a very successful summer.
Oh yeah, very much.
I see a player in Delo, technically decent for a right back. He's been here 3 years and hasn't developed one bit. He's given a proper chance with the new manager. I think he's developed this season, to be honest. I think he's gotten better. My source also told me Ten Hag is the favourite. Thank you for the support in the chat, guys. CDM and Fred pivot doesn't sound too bad unless Ten Hag wants to use Donny in the box-to-box role. I think we're going to have to rotate. Let's be very honest with ourselves. We're going to be in the worst UEFA competition that there is. We're going to be playing a lot of games. We're going to have to rotate, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, McTominay, it was one of his worst games in the United shirt, in my opinion. Just awful.
I think it's a trophy we haven't won before, so we can add it to the list.
Yeah. City have never won it. They've never won it.
Yeah, we can hold it over them.
Don't know whether to laugh or cry here. But no disrespect to Fred, but we've had players like Keane, Carrick, Scholes, but playing in midfield. Strong characters, proper quality. Fred's not that. That's a good point.
For every Keane, Carrick, Scholes, but that we've had in there, we've also had the likes of Anderson, Cleverly, these type of players. Yes, you do need those quality players, leaders, like a Declan Rice, but you also need the players like Fred who will play not necessarily 60 to 70 minutes a match, unless it's a rubber match, like, maybe it's a match against a lower half of the table and you just need someone who's got a bit of legs, their tenacity, then yes, you can utilize Fred. And it's more about having someone that we can have a squad rotation, like you said, who we can have on the bench, who we could take off the bench. I think Fred off the bench would be fantastic because of his tenacity, his energy. I just think he could give us something different in that midfield that maybe somebody like Donny won't have. I mean? So you do have to have these players. It's not about saying, right, we got our 11, the rest can go. We do need a squad.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I've just found out, by the way, I'm going to get, whether we drop points or not on Saturday, I'm going to get some smiles going to Riley's, which I don't know. I don't know whether it's just a thing in Manchester or whether it's a thing across the country. Riley's is it's what you would call a sports bar, but it's pool. So I'll be watching that in Riley's, and then I'll be watching the match in Riley's and then playing pool for an hour with my uncle. So I'll be looking forward to that.
I've got a kids' pool table in the kitchen.
We've got one in the front room. We've just not used it for ages.
Big, and I've seriously thought about just filming that and going, right, this is competitive sport. Come on, people, play.
yeah. Instead of watching any football, done.
And Hayden being quite explosive when he loses, it's got a little bit of added,
Yeah, I'd say the same for Scott. No, yeah, I would say the same for McTominay. Unfortunately, um, I'm not gonna. I'm trying not to be too negative on this live stream, but I'm not gonna lie to people. The only feelings I have around United right now are very negative. And people know that I've kept this channel positive, and I'm not gonna go in a direction of negativity in the last month. First step, get Ten Hag. Second step, the board needs to back Ten Hag. I agree with that. Tielemans is 25 mil. Apparently, he was very good.
Oh, yeah.
Every day. On to the best, right? Someone who I'm meeting actually in June, who I'm hoping to get a selfie with. Yap Stam. Yap Stam on returning to Manchester United as a coach. This is betting expert via MEN. If Manchester United would ask me, I would do it straight away without a doubt. United is my life as well. I've had great seasons over there. It's been very important for me. Everyone is very eager to help. Like I said, you never know. It will be interesting. It's all about owners. It's all about directors. It's all about coaches that step in. Who do they want as assistant coach? That's how it goes. There has to be a correct structure. First of all, what I'm going to say, what is it with these Dutch people and speaking complete and utter sense? They just know, and it's because the football clubs are run so well.
It's refreshing.
Over there.
It really is. Yeah. It's refreshing to hear.
What I don't understand is why have Sky Sports got Jamie Carragher on there when they can get Yap Stam on here? Do you know what I mean? Imagine having Yap Stam on United punditry. That would be amazing. Like, I don't want to listen to Jamie Carragher just waffling rubbish. I want to listen to Yap Stam ranting and talking some sense. But would you take him as a coach?
Well, I don't really know much about his coaching ability, but I was quite surprised because the way that his career sort of ended at United, there was, the way he was treated with regards to leaving the club. I was quite surprised. I thought there'd be another sort of Roy Keane situation where the damage was done and he wouldn't be able to, that relationship was damaged. So when you told me about it the other day and I first heard it, I was quite surprised. But it's that Dutch connection. If we can utilize that into the style of play that we're going to have, because we are going to be getting that sort of, we need level of precision. We need the German precision from Rangnick. We need the same sort of structure from ETH. We need people who are football people, who know football, who work, who are really high and top of their job. That's the kind of people that we should be looking at. We shouldn't be settling for mediocre, because the only way we're going to get better is by getting the best.
Yeah. Your connection is lagging a lot. I do apologize if it's from my side. It's just stopped now. There we go. I wouldn't mind Ten Hag. I mean, I wouldn't mind Yap Stam as coach. Dear says bring my goat, Robin Van Persie, with Ten Hag. I'm very, very reserved about Robin Van Persie. I love him. To me, he's a legend.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that the other day, and again, I don't know much about him as a coach, but again, the pedigree of who he is, what he's done, there is that level.
I feel like it will cause arguments if he came in, though.
Well, I mean, possibly, but
I don't know if you remember, he had a spat with our previous manager. A back and forth with Solskjaer. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I was literally just about to bring up his time on BT Sport, because whenever he was talking on there, he always seemed to be quite knowledgeable and quite switched on when it came to our club and the way it's been run and the things that it needs to make it work. And, okay, fair enough. It didn't work with Ollie with regards to having an ex-player, ex-legend at the club. But we're not asking Van Persie or Yap Stam to come and manage the club. We're asking them to come in as an assistant.
No, yeah.
So I'm more open to that.
This stream may be a little bit too short, so I'll just bring up some quick fire topics and just start discussing once we've done a review of Leicester as well, and people obviously in the chat can suggest topics as well. I don't want the stream to be too short. I don't want it to seem like, oh, I'm half-assing it. I'm absolutely not. I'm still loving streaming. Ollie said Ram Van Persie took his number, and now he might take his job. Oh, I don't want any Ollie slander, man. I want Ollie back as assistant coach. Don't want any Ollie slander. No, but the review Leicester, genuinely. It was a very weird atmosphere in Old Trafford. Like, just sat there. Someone else tweeted it as well. A member of the Red Army tweeted it. And it was almost acceptance of how bad we are. Just pure. We're just like, we're not shocked anymore. We're just sitting there like we didn't expect anything different. It was bleak. It was dull. It was just no creativity, no urgency. And the title says, "Do they care? Do they really care? Like, do they?" And we can get into the tactical side and things like that, but at the end of the day, you have to care. Like, we're sitting there watching it, and then they're just half-arsing it.
Teams like us yesterday, they go a goal down, and they come out in that second half, and they're a completely different team.
Yeah,
we went into that second half, and we knew as a fan base, it's just going to be the same. There's not going to be any urgency in the play. There's not going to be a desire to win the ball. There's not going to be any of the passing that
Bruno even, and we see Bruno give 110%. He pussied out of a tackle, which led to the goal. It was a goal, but I think the goal was disallowed, weren't it? Yeah, that was the goal that was disallowed. But why? Why are you pussying out of a tackle? What? I'm so done with this season. I've said it time and time again, but the other day was truly the last straw. Like, I think all of us, I don't know whether we're all in agreement. We all will be relieved when this season ends. It will just be like a sigh of relief, and we can finally move on, because let's be honest, it's not getting any better this season, is it? We're not going to get top 4.
I said in a WhatsApp group that we can't expect the players.
Apologies, you're lagging right now.
I don't know whether it seems all right my end.
I think it's my end. Let me just turn my Wi-Fi off on my phone. I do apologise for that.
All right.
I'm not sure whether my stream's still up. There we go. Yeah, it is.
I said in the WhatsApp group, when you've got the board and the owners checked out the season before January, how can you then expect the players to not check out before the end of the season? The club as a whole has basically down tools and said, well, we'll try again next season. From players to coaches to the board to the owners, literally as we went into the January transfer window, we as a fan base knew what we needed to do. The manager knew what we needed to do, and none of it was done. It's all right, we'll get top 4. Once that was not going to happen, and the players saw, well, that's it. What you can see that there aren't. I mean, even before we could say, well, we can see such and such is making an effort. We don't see enough of any of them making an effort. It's very lethargic. It's very slow, and it doesn't seem to be any cohesion. We literally just had a 2-week international break where the majority of our players didn't go. And we come back and we play like that. And there's other teams that have had the same international break.
I'm interested to see Arsenal tonight, because recently they've been coming out energetic. They've been coming out like they're fighting for something. They're coming out like they're fighting for top 4. We're coming out like, oh, it's already done. We're not getting top 4 anyway. Well, yeah, the fans think that, but you fight to the very last day. Pogba tweeted saying we'll fight to the very last day, yet did an interview and said the season's dead. You need to be fighting to the very last day. You have to be fighting for every single point.
Fight until it's done.
Yeah.
You know, it's just they've just given up. They've just thrown the towel.
It was that the other day. It was just sat there in Old Trafford, and it's like there's no hope. There was no hope. There was no, and people know how like I'm positive to the point of delusion 99% of the time. But how can I be positive about that? Like, genuinely, and I'm not taking the mick. And I know there's people here that are not like I'm very lucky to be able to go to Old Trafford every single game and things like that. And I know how lucky I am. But it's not worth it. Like people, you've got people around you relying on people around us to make them laugh.
Yeah,
United aren't entertaining us. Well, an argument about the bloody seats is as much entertainment as we're going to get.
Bruno scores a brace for his country that sends him to the World Cup. He then gets a contract extension for an extra 4 + 1 year with an extension. He then comes back, and you'd expect that to give him a bit of a bounce. And he plays like that. Harry Maguire booed by the country's national.
I thought Maguire was all right, actually, and that isn't like.
But when you come back and your fans are cheering you and giving him the reception that he gave, he should be grabbing hold of the scruff of the necks of that game because he's the captain. If he's seeing that players are putting in a half-assed bloody performance, he's the captain. He's the one that should be grabbing them by the scruff of the neck and literally commanding. And he didn't have a bad game. I'm not saying that he did. He did his job. But it's not just about doing his job. He's the captain. Now, yes, we missed Ronaldo. But even if we had Ronaldo on the pitch, he's only one player. There was so many players in that squad on Saturday that didn't turn up. And it was just, I even joked, I'm off down the pharmacy to get some antidepressants because it was like, I joked about it beforehand. Hopefully I won't have to. And, we were all sort of like, yeah, we'll be depressed at the full time. But we were sort of like, it was more like, we didn't want it to happen, but we were joking just in case it did happen. And then we could say, yeah, I knew it was going to happen. But you don't expect, we played as if they were playing a testimonial. It was like there was nothing on the line. It was like there was no urgency, nothing. And Leicester, you've got to give them credit. They were immense. They could have won the game. They could have won the
game. Yeah. They're showing Maddison's disallowed goal here. We're very lucky that it was a foul. They're showing it on Sky Sports News. That's why I'm looking up.
The foul on. That's where it was.
Like
Harry Maguire, who fell over.
Yeah.
Sympathy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at this, I'm almost lost for words with this team, man. They've broken me this season. They've really, really just like, how much more can we take? Honestly, like I'm speaking to my uncle. He and obviously, I assume he's a similar age to you. He's 41. He's born in 79, so I think he's 41. But like he's saying, this is the worst he's ever seen it, and we me and him have sat there next to each other at Old Trafford, 3-0 down to Liverpool, chanting 20 times still with David Moyes in charge. Me and him have sat there with our feet, not being able to feel our feet because of the snow when we drew 0-0 to West Brom and we drew 0-0 to Stoke. And we can't break a low block down under Louis van Gaal. Obviously, I hope he gets better under Louis van Gaal's management. Me and him have sat there under Jose Mourinho, where everything, the whole club is toxic and it's all falling apart. And we sat there under Ollie Solskjaer, where we're 5-0 down to Liverpool and we're 2-0 down to City, and all we can hear is the rival team chanting Ollie's at the wheel.
Yeah.
And still, this is the worst we've seen it. This is, we like, I'm 19. I'm much younger than the people sat behind me. These 3 men normally, but one of them doesn't normally come. There's 2 men sat behind me. They're old guys. One of them is a platinum season ticket holder, which means he's held a season ticket for 25 plus years. He's seen us get relegated. He has seen this, and yet I can still hear him saying to his friend, "This is awful. Like, how can we possibly watch this?" I'm hearing 70-odd-year-olds saying this. I don't understand, because we can get into the tactical side. We can get into the players. We can get into the management. We can get into the coaches. But as I discussed yesterday whilst watching a Spurs match, and this discussion was like a 2-hour discussion of what's wrong with Manchester United with my uncle, and it all comes down to the Glazers. It does. Like, we've got second-rate training facilities. We've got second-rate staff. We've got second-rate players. We've got second-rate like academy at the moment. Well, not at the moment, but over years.
In an academy, if they can't break through into the first team,
Indeed,
you put those players on that field, on Saturday, we might have had a different game, because they're not going to play the way we played the other day. In fact, you'd probably get them playing a lot better. I think
I've been calling for weeks to play McNeil, and this undoubtedly it's because of his talent. But
yeah, I mean, what's happened to Hannibal Mabry, Shola Shoretire, all of these players that we've got in our youth that we could bring through, that should be brought through. We've got such a rich history with our academy, and they are there, and I see the results that we have for the youth academy, and I see the likes of Garner and the way he's playing for Forest, and I sort of sit there and I think to myself, these players are hungry. These players are the kind of players that we need in our team. The reason that it's so bad at the moment is because it isn't just on the manager. It isn't just on a player. It's literally the whole lot. It's right from the top all the way through the club, and there is no light. The only flicker of a light that I can see is that we're close to the end of the season, and we're going to be getting this new manager with a new vision. That's my light.
To be honest, I can see protests happening because Gary Neville. It's very clear he's genuinely sick of it. No, he's basically in so many words, he said to the Glazers, "Are you taking a piss out of us? Like, is it like you've promised us 4 things and you follow through on none of them?" The 1958 are on everyone's back right now. They're breathing down Musk's neck as we speak, as in they're like right on the case about protests and things like that. They're trying to organise protests, the 1958 group. So I can see there being protests, and if I'm able to attend those protests, obviously I can't literally drop everything to attend a protest. But if I'm absolutely able to attend a protest, I will. But
look at the Chelsea situation. They've got bidders falling over themselves to buy that club. Are you telling me, in the world that we've got, which is the richest it's been for ever, you're telling me that we cannot find a consortium, a bidder, or even a couple that can literally take the club away from the Glazers?
One of our biggest ever legends, in my opinion, can find a consortium to buy this club in David Beckham. I think he could.
After 92, they could do it together easily. And they could do it with a fan share involvement, where they allow the fans to buy a stake so that it's not just them that's putting their money up. I can't see why we can't do that. That's what the legend of Chelsea, John Terry, is doing. He's trying to put a consortium together which will involve the fans at the front. Why haven't we got that? They can see
we've got like if I'm actually thinking about it as a business, obviously we can find legends that buy consortiums and things like that. And obviously, speaking of business, and it isn't related to football, but the richest man in the world has just bought Twitter. If anyone is not aware of that, the major stakeholder who now owns 77% of Twitter is Elon Musk. He bought it today. I don't know if you've seen that, and that is very, 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 very good news in my opinion. Very good news.
I've actually not been on much socials today.
No, it's gone under the radar a little bit. It's actually not made worldwide news, but he's bought Twitter. He's now a major shareholder, which is massive. But if we're thinking about Manchester United Limited as a business, and this is what Glazers will be thinking, unfortunately, because the club makes 350 million each year. It overturns 350 million each year, and 100 million of that goes in debt, goes into like paying the debt and things like that. Yeah, it's still not paid off because of interest. But either way, 350 million a year, and it's worth 4 billion, that the Glazers say. So who would pay 4 billion for a company? Just forget about forget about what company it is. Who will pay 4 billion for a company that makes 350 million each year? It's not really worth it.
But it doesn't make 350 million a year. It's just the fact that the dividends that the Glazers take out mean, and the way that the club is run, that's why it's the way that it is. You know, that debt that we've got could be paid off one season with the revenue that we make. Ronaldo himself brings in a big chunk of change. You know, we've got sponsorships, we've got the social media side of things, we've got the players. This is one of the richest clubs in the world, and it is something that, should somebody invest in it properly, could make a very lucrative business out of it. And you know, I'd even accept Jeff Bezos if he changed it to Old Trafford Prime. You know, I, I
I don't know about that.
No, I'm joking. But I'm literally praying. I mean, we've all had a little bit of a laugh at Chelsea. We've all bantered them over this Roman Abramovich situation, but they are going to get bought by somebody who actually cares about the club. They are going to,
yeah, undoubtedly.
Yeah, and they are going to get investment, and they are going to continue fighting. And we aren't. We're going to continue to be owned by the Glazers. We're going to be continue to be run by the Glazers, and ultimately, where have we been? You know, we've been on
the thing is, and the issue is not fans. Undoubtedly, it's not fans, but in order to help our cause as fans, and just as people in general, like if you're talking about everyday life in general, surely being united, as in together, is better than being against each other or separated, because you've got you've got 1958, you've got the Red Army, and then you've got hashtag Glazers out as well on Twitter, and on Instagram as well. That's 4 different organizations / campaigns trying to be run against the Glazers by 4 different separate people, as in or groups, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna compare it to something a little bit more serious now. Premier League, UEFA, FIFA, everything else. None of them can agree on how to try and get discrimination out of football, because you've got Premier League with kick it out. You've got UEFA with is it no room for racism? You've got FIFA with something else. You've got these with something else. They're all like not working together. Like if us as fans generally work together to get the Glazers out, in my opinion, we could do it. But it is very obviously very, 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 very difficult, and it's not as easy as me just saying that in my bedroom right now. It's absolutely not.
There is division in the fan base. I mean, you've got the negativity towards football YouTubers like Goldbridge and Terry and things like that, where you've got a section of the fan base who disagree with, you know, the way that they earn money off the club. Then you've got a section of the fan base who go to the stadium, who might have different views to a fan base who's around the club, around the world. When we had the Super League, despite all of those groups being fragmented, we all came together. If we want to get rid of the Glazers, we cannot be thinking about division and who's the better red, who's not a true red. It's not about that. Right now, everything should be moved to one side and we should be focused on one thing, and that's getting them out of the club. By hook or by crook, whatever it takes, even if we have to protest at every single home match, I'd be there. With, literally green and gold.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly. Look, I've got a green and gold scarf there.
We got
there. You can see it there.
Yeah, I've got the big massive flag and everything. We got the biggest match in world football called off in one Sunday afternoon, and we changed them.
I'm not sure that specific event was a good thing in my opinion. However, I don't know the legality of doing something like that.
Fair enough, because I mean, I was on the outside. I didn't even know they got into the stadium until I'd seen it on the news. Because although I was there with Hayden, we sort
of may not have been.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
So I did, the hotel side of things, and stopping them getting out to the bus and getting into the grounds we didn't know about straight away. So yeah, okay, fair enough. Maybe certain aspects of it went too far, but even so, when we want to, we can work together. And if we want to get these owners to say, right, no, we need to sell.
Even people that are massively disliked in this fan base, and I mean, a person that I've spoken to you about who took something really, really personal with Maguire. He was a massive part in the not a penny more movement, and I remember it, and that was massive. That was huge. And especially with our fans, including myself, and I'm massively including myself on this. We've got too much time to just do anything. So of course I did bad reviews on what Glazers own and whatever.
Literally review bombing every single sponsor that we had, and it worked because we had the Adidas coming out and saying, right, okay, we need to have a meeting.
The Hut Group and refused to sponsor us at that point.
Exactly. So it is possible to do something to get them rattled. Maybe not sell, but at least get them rattled to the point where they might.
The night the Super League stopped. I'm coming up to a year. We're literally coming up to a year in a few weeks of that happening. The night that I think was it Monday or Tuesday night, and TalkSport announced it first. Somehow they got the information first. Don't know how. But news followed very, very quickly. The Glazer family are considering selling Manchester United. And obviously at that point we were all hyped about that. It didn't end up happening, but we were all hyped about that. They've obviously regrouped since then. But to get in just 48 hours, that family to consider selling the club that they've had for 16 years is massive. It's huge. Like we can do it. It's just how are we going to do it really?
I've heard Goldbridge say the likes. Look, he says he can't be the catalyst for it, but if anybody comes up with something, then he will work. Because I know at the time when that protest was sort of being talked about, he was involved in sort of putting.
He was involved in pushing it, I believe.
Exactly. Yeah. So if we can get a unity in working together to do something for the greater good, we can go back to arguing afterwards. but we
Yeah.
need some form of, I don't know, unity in the fan base, because ultimately we all want the same thing, and we all want United to succeed. And it's clear that we're at a point now where
It's I think it's nearly the point of no return, like, as in, like, obviously it's already the point of no return with the Glazers. I can just I as a 19-year-old can never forgive them, and obviously I can slightly remember when we were winning the league and things like that, but I was still young. Um, this season, and obviously the reason why we're talking about this now, this season it's all like blown right up in our faces, like we can speak about the players speaking to the media or whatever, which shouldn't happen in the first place, but we can speak about all that. But from top to bottom, the mentality of the club, the way the club's run financially, um, and this isn't specifically me saying it because I don't know the ins and outs of the financial side of football. Simon Jordan, who talks generally quite a lot of shit, he's very clued up on the financial side of football, and he said it's run terribly financially. It's just run awful. It's run in a way which is it's running very well as a business, but not as a football club for fans. Um,
I've always been a bit confused by it, because we always say, "Oh well, it's a business, not a football club," but it's not a very good business, because some of the decisions that Woodward made over the years, for instance, whether it's contracts being given out when we should
yeah,
never have given them out, players that have been bought when they should never have been bought, contracts being run down when they should be being given contracts. Um, yes, they might be making money in the fact that they're taking dividends out of the club, but do they really not pay much attention to the running of the club? Because if they did, I think Woodward would have been sacked years ago. Years and years.
but even if they did, which obviously I have absolutely no idea whether they do or don't, it would be like me paying attention to um how Amazon is run, and me being the owner of Amazon, but me being paying attention. I have absolutely no idea about any of it. Um, they have no idea about how to run a club, especially a football club. They run an NFL club, and they run shopping malls in America. They don't run English football clubs,
No.
and with NFL football clubs, they can just move. They can move across the country. They do it generally. I
Yeah.
think it's every few years they move across the country. You can't do that here. They have absolutely no clue about what they're doing. So there's no point. There's no point them paying attention to it in the first place, even if they are, because they can just say, "Oh, you're doing a good job," because they don't really have an idea. What they're seeing is 100 million going into their bank account each year, so they're thinking that's a bloody good job Ed Woodward's doing there. Do you know what I mean? They're not seeing United losing 5-0 and it like it breaking the fans it's like
Oh
just
no.
awful. They're not seeing, they're not feeling that. They're not feeling it, and like I know I talk about being in Old Trafford like so much, and I do apologize. Apologize if it seems a bit arrogant. I'm not intending to be that way, but they're not feeling going in, sitting in Old Trafford each week and being sort of empty, watching it, thinking this is a shadow of what it once was. This isn't the real Manchester United. This isn't a fortress. This isn't Nemanja Vidic giving man in the match performances. This isn't, do you know what I mean? This isn't Nemanja Vidic tackling Messi. This is Harry Maguire messing up, or this is McTominay messing up. Um, it's just broken from top to bottom. It really is. And how do you fix it? I have no idea. I don't know how to run a football club.
No.
I know how I would like it run, from the sense of what I would like the end goal to be, but I don't know how to run a football club, so I couldn't tell you. And I don't think any of us in this stream that ever watches this stream can tell us, because no one owns a football club here. Back to the squad though. Just the last few minutes onto the squad, and like, how do we solve it? Stephen Howson said maybe we need to. It's unorthodox. Maybe Ranić needs to take them to Amsterdam and get them on the brass. Just how do we solve this with the squad? How do we get to the end of the season? Do we just limp our way there?
I think they need some form of intense training. I do. I think they need like a boot camp of some sorts to get their blood pumping
They'll
because,
still say they're not happy with that training, won't they?
well, yeah, tough. They're not there to just be wallflowers. They're there to be professional footballers. They're paid to be professional footballers. And right now, there's more energy in my kids running around a football pitch than I see from them. My kids don't get paid half as much as them. And I I think they need a rocket right up their
Yeah.
arse, give them a goal, and I don't think we're going to get that from Ralph. I don't think we would have got it from Ollie,
I
although he
don't
did.
think Ralph is an issue, but
No.
I
Don't get
just think a lot of this squad just won't listen.
He might not be an issue, but there are still things. He's not free from criticism.
Oh yeah,
Sometimes decision making with regards to formations, in the way that we play are a little bit questionable. Sometimes his substitution.
the other day though, like we played Bruno false nine, but he played false nine under Portugal twice and played very, very well. Now, I didn't really question that because I thought, mate, I don't think it's going to work for United, but I thought he played very well in the nine for Portugal, so why not try it again at United? I don't feel like that decision specifically was a bad one.
There was no discipline with him in the United shirt, though.
No,
he was literally going out of position. At times, Pogba was further forward than he was. And, you see the average positions and you sort of think, well, Bruno, you're supposed to be that false nine, deeper than Pogba. And when United played that false nine against City, it didn't work. Now, don't get me wrong, it was City. So you could just say, oh, well, that's probably what it was. But a lot of the pundits were saying,
we don't have the players to play false nine.
Yeah.
None of them.
I thought Alanga was very good as a false nine against Watford on the end of last season.
Yeah.
Because he was false nine. We had Donny in behind him in the box to box or Cam. I can't remember what he was playing, but we had a much changed team.
If we're talking about Bruno playing false nine, the players he's got around him for Portugal: Bernardo Silva, Jota, Carvalho. Who else can I name? There's loads of great players. There's that young lad, I can't remember his name. The young lad that I said looked quite promising on the watch along. At United, he's got an out of form Marcus Rashford, a young Elanga, so it's still young. Scott McTominay, who's not, let's be honest, he's not United quality. As much as it hurts me to say that, I will back the bloody players, but I'll back any player.
You finally say that now that you're leaving bloody YouTube and Twitter. That's where
we've got Fred. Fred's good, but he's not got that ability, has he, to work? So you look at that and you say, how can he really play false nine? He's not got good players around him. He's not got anyone around him to help him.
But even if he is to play that false nine, that chance that he had in front of goal, where he went to the right of Kasper Schmeichel, that should have gone in.
He should have put that away. He should have put that away.
Post, top corner, or even just low to the near post of Bruno's left, and he probably wouldn't have been able to get down for it.
Going to North London derby, by the way. Sorry to interrupt. The North London derby is now rescheduled for Thursday, the 12th of May. It could be a big game for us, but I don't think it will be.
That's my mum's birthday, so that'll be a nice birthday present for her.
Right, let's get into the comments. Someone said I forgot to read comments. I haven't forgot. It was just a great chat. Maguire was all right, but all right, it's not good enough. Robson, Bruce Keane would step up during that moment when the team is down. He didn't. True, very true. We drew 1-1 on Saturday, and United's YouTube channel are putting up a shot of Maguire's tackle. Wish this club was more serious. I want them to feel like they lost the game if they drew one. It's ridiculous. Who's making a decision to upload that? What is that? What is that about? I don't get that. The Hey and Air post. I felt like he should have done better, but I don't know. Ollie backed these players for 3 years, and the minute things went wrong, the minute things went crashing down, the players threw Ollie under the bus, and they've done it to Ranić too. Kenny says hello. These players are on loads of money, so their mind is like they've made it in life. Meanwhile, we're sat 7th and haven't won the trophy in 5 years. Our wage structure is also awful. I would have started McNeil. I've been saying this for ages.
We didn't even get that new manager bounce with Ralph, though.
No, we didn't.
We sort of had that half an hour, and we've had a few good halves there. But for the most part, it's sort of carried on the form under Ollie, in the way that we started the season on a high, and there's been sort of downward trajectory as we've gone through the season. Out of every cup competition, out of the top 4 race, possibly out of top 5, we're fighting fifth, 6th, or 7th, and where's we're usually saying where's the ceiling. We're actually saying how low are we going to fall. There are still 8, 9 games.
I'm going to ask you a mad question, and I think people were asking themselves the same question yesterday. Would you prefer to finish 8th? Would you prefer to finish Europa League or Conference League or 8th?
Well, obviously, I would prefer a Europa League because it is still a trophy, and I would even take the Conference League, not because I want to win it, but as more like a punishment. You guys got put us in this mess. You guys can go out there and bloody play there. Going off to some country that we've
made the decision that we're not paying for the to go to the Europa to the Conference League games because you have an option to pay or not, and we're not paying me and my uncle. It's not worth it. No way. I'm not sitting there freezing cold on a Thursday night to watch the Conference League. No way. It's embarrassing.
Half the time it ain't going to be televised as well.
Yeah.
It's going to
Emmerdale's on a Thursday night. That's better than watching that bloody team.
Well, I mean, the revenue that it's going to lose the Glazers as well.
Oh yeah.
Conference League. That's sort of why I would much rather than go into the Conference League, because it's going to cost them a lot more money to go into that, with the ticket sales that they're going to lose, with the sponsorships that they might not have, with the television rights that they're not going to have. At least if we're out of all of the European Cups, we've got the domestic cups and the league to focus on. So I don't want to give them that free ride. I don't want to give them that excuse of saying, well, at least we can focus on domestic. I want
it will be
comfortable.
Ideal.
I want them to be uncomfortable. But can you imagine it? We bring the GOAT of football back home to Manchester United to finish his career in the Conference League.
Oh God, it will be embarrassing.
It
would be very embarrassing.
I'd let him go.
I don't know.
I'd let him go for free. I wouldn't give him the take his dignity and put him in. No. I'd say, look, sit it out this year. Put your feet up. You coach the youth.
I think the news is that he's staying. Ronaldo.
I just can't see him playing in the Conference League. It's just, I mean, we're bantered enough. I mean, at least with Messi, we banter over his goal tally. It hasn't really worked out, but at least he knows that next season he's going to be in the Champions League. We haven't even got that. We can't even use that. Oh well, at least we got Ronaldo for whatever. If we're out of the Champions League, the Europa League, and maybe down to the Conference League, I mean, we might.
These players have had well enough chance to step up as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer left in game week 12. We're coming up to game week. I know because of the review of game week. We're coming up to the review of game week 30. So that's 18 game weeks in the Premier League, plus like many other weeks where we haven't played and things like that, or it's been international or whatever. They've had more than enough chance to step up, and they've just not. They've just shown time and time again. They're bottling it again and again and again, and it's just can't like I was discussing with my uncle yesterday, no, it was the other day. What score do you reckon it'll be? I think it was Saturday before we left. What score do you reckon it'll be when we're playing Leicester? And we both said, "Fuck knows." It's like how can you predict with this team, with the previous team, like a let's say a Fergie team. Obviously, we're never going to get to the levels, the unprecedented levels of Sir Alex Ferguson. He's literally a god. You could say 2-0, 3-0, maybe 4 under this with this Leicester team that hit and miss. Of course, we're going to beat them. There's no way we're not going to beat them. This season, it's like no game for us is an easy game. You see Spurs breezing past teams. We've had 3 comfortable wins this season. Leeds 5-1, Newcastle 4-1, Spurs 3-0. And the Spurs 3-0 was I wouldn't really count that because they were playing like they had something to play for at that point when they didn't really have something to play for. We knew that Ollie was going to get sacked a few weeks after that anyway. It was all going to go wrong again. So Newcastle and Leeds, the first few weeks of the season, we've not won comfortably since then. Like it's every game, it's a slog. Every game, it's a we're going to have to stress ourselves out again. And I think on my Twitter, there's several tweets of it where I tweet, it is never simple with Man United. It's never, never make it simple. It's always complicated. It's always, we're going to give this pass away. We're going to give too many fouls away. We're going to concede this. We're going to make this defensive error. We're going to defend this way. And it's like, we need major overhauls in this squad. And I know I'm feeling quite negative right now about United. Undoubtedly, I am, and I try to be a positive fan and things like that. But they've not really given me anything to be positive about. No. If we get Ten Hag, then I'll be positive. But about this squad, no.
The only positive we got was a point, and that's it. You know, there was no sort
of. It felt like a loss.
You don't feel like it didn't give you any sort of anything to go off of for the next match. There was nothing in there that made you have a little bit of optimism or look at it and go, oh, well, I actually saw something. You know what I mean? It wasn't a 1-1 where it was equal. I genuinely can't see where we're going to get a result that's positive. Even Everton next week.
It's a difficult game for us.
For us, it is.
Yeah.
For the rest of us.
Every single team in the league batter Everton and battered Everton.
But you can see us not.
Yeah.
You can see it. You know, Newcastle, whoever it is that we're going to go up against, whichever team that we will now face will go to us with confidence. Whilst we won't, because we're bereft of ideas, we're lacking intensity, there's no cohesion, there's a group of individuals, and I don't know what they're doing on the training.
If you compare it, I'm going to compare it to something I've concentrated on a lot recently. It's very clear that I'm concentrating on this now as well, more than United right now, undoubtedly. The England squad. Let's just compare it to the England squad. There's a togetherness. There's very clear togetherness in that England squad. They're all in it together. They're all, and whether 2 of those players are United players or not, regardless, they're all in it together. They all are aiming to win each game, every single game, and even play well as individuals and play well as a team, regardless of whether you like the style of football or not. With United, it looks like there are 11 individuals on the pitch. They're not in it together. My uncle has said it looks like they hate each other. Like it looks like they all just do not like each other at all. They all hate each other. They don't speak to each other. They don't do anything together. What is wrong with them? I don't understand.
Yeah, but the weird thing about it is you see that on a match day. But in the week when we are playing and you see the media that's being put out on Twitter and Instagram and places like that on the training ground, it's all smiles, it's you know, when they're all hugging, laughing, it's like a holiday camp. It's like they're having a laugh, they're enjoying it. And then come match day, it's like they hate each other. It's like
Yeah.
arguments, there's disagreements, there's fallings out, there's no chemistry or anything. But
Roy
then you
Keane said. Roy Keane said. I was being told. I didn't know this actual quote until yesterday. Um, he said the match day should be the easiest day of the week. Easiest day of the week. It should be harder in training than it is in match day because you've done so well in training and worked so hard in training. It should be the easiest game of the week, match day, because
yeah,
you're prepared for it. We don't look prepared for it. They don't look.
I genuinely you can look at a football match and you can how they've been asked to play, what each individual, what their role is in the team,
Yeah,
how the team is structured to basically play that match. And you can analyze it and you can see what has been worked on in the week on the training ground. I can't tell you one position, maybe the goalkeeper, but one position, outfield position. I cannot tell you what's been worked on because the defense looks shaky. The wingers looks bereft of ideas. The striker, when we have them, even Ronaldo, he's not exactly got a goal fest this season. The midfield
yeah,
looks disconnected. It's the left back and the right back. What are their roles? Are they defensive? Are they attacking? Because I don't see either. It's just positional awareness is out.
yeah,
Everything just
definitely.
seems to be, well,
It's
what?
all a mess. Like
Yeah,
it's just a complete mess. I think I've said this on basically every single Premier League game review, and it's probably going to be no different tomorrow with Thomas. It's just a complete mess from goalkeeper right to the attack. Um, like the defensive structure is awful. It's a glaring issue that needs sorting out. Um, the midfield got absolutely dominated the other day. The attack looked like they weren't together. Everything about it is a mess. We concede too many fouls. We give the ball away too many times.
free kicks. God, that was just ridiculous. But
Yeah,
again,
uh,
you've got to ask, what are they doing in training?
yeah,
What are they training? What? I just do not understand what they must be doing other than five-a-side.
yeah,
Five-a-side. Weights, sprints, that's about it. Because we know that although Ralph isn't really known as a manager, we do know that he has got some technical nous when it comes to putting a team together
yeah,
with the way that he can, break teams down, with the way that he can set up defensively. He knows what he's talking about. So he's been with us for a while now, long enough to have been able to
5 months, 6 months.
long enough to impart on the team what he wants style of play wise, etc., etc. We've had Conte go in, and already you're starting to see that he's getting something out of the players that he's got. And I don't see that with United. I don't see a progression. We've got a completely different manager, but they're playing exactly the same way that they were towards the end of Ollie's
Yep.
reign. How is that possible?
It's almost like it's the squad that's the issue and not the manager.
Yeah,
Um, my question is, I'm going to ask you one last question, and I'll get into the comments, and then we'll end the stream. And I asked this question to my uncle yesterday. Do you think this has been from last season, the season before, and they were two very good seasons in my opinion, especially in terms of finishes. In my opinion, it was good football, but some people disagree. Do you think this has been building up from last season, or do you think something just went horribly wrong at the start of this season?
I actually do think that our positioning did mask a lot of the issues that we had in our squad because although we brought in a couple of players this season, a lot of the players were a legacy of last season and the season before. And although we finished where we had, second and third, I don't feel that we were. I don't feel the league was as competitive then as it was, say, this season. Yeah, I think we were the best of the rest when it comes to last season when we finished second, but the rest weren't really there. You knew that although we were behind Leicester and Chelsea, we knew that we could make a run and catch them. We just, we had that confidence. Now, to say that that means that we were very good, I disagree with, because we did have some great, games. We did have that mentality that if we went a goal down, which happened quite a lot, we had that mentality to come back into the match and go on and get the win. I mean, we had that unbeaten away record. A chunk of that was because of lockdowns, because obviously it's not as intimidating going to an away stadium when it's empty, but you still got to go and win your matches. And there was a bit of fluidity to the team. Volleyball,
they did look together. The team did look together. Regardless of this season, last season they did.
There wasn't the toxicity that there is this season. I can't put it on any one particular thing this season. I don't think it's the acquisitions. Something changed within that group under Ollie that made the players that were playing for the badge last season suddenly not. Now, whether some noses were put out of joint with some of the positions that came in, and we've heard of leaks of certain cliques with regards to players. Like, for instance, we know about Henderson was supposed to be number one, got COVID, didn't play.
Do you believe? Quick question: Do you believe genuinely, regardless of our opinion on De Gea and Henderson and the goalkeeper situation, if Ten Hag comes in, which right now it's looking very likely, do you believe that it will be Henderson?
I think that it could be. I do, because I do see the qualities of having in goal. And if we're going to be playing the brand of football that Ten Hag plays, then we're going to need a keeper that can come off his line, that can distribute the ball, that can do the things that David De Gea is not so great at. The reason why David De Gea has worked for us this season is because we've faced a lot of shots.
Yeah.
And whether that's the midfield, the defense, or a combination of both, when you're facing a load of shots, it's not about distribution. It's not about coming off your line. Yeah, it should be, but mostly it's about, he pulled off that save in the Leicester match. I don't know whether you caught it on Match of the Day afterwards.
I've seen it. I remember it live. It was unbelievable, and everyone was shocked about it.
Arguably one of the best shot stoppers in the business, but are we going to be facing as many shots in that sense? We're not going to be getting peppered from the edge of the box or in and around the penalty area. We're going to be getting shots which are on the ground, and you've got that defensive line which is going to be further up the pitch. So we're either going to get the ball over the top or to the wingers to cross in. And, I can't tell you definitively it's going to be Dean Henderson, because it is looking likely that he wants to go, but we are definitely looking at other keepers. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'll get into the comments now. I'm sorry, but Sevilla literally had R9 to give it a pep talk to Martial for him to get 0 goals so far. He's going, isn't it? Let's be honest with ourselves. It's not working, is it? It's not going to work, is it? United, until they have a clear direction and stability, nothing is really going to change. I agree with that. Stability is a huge thing in a football club. 1958. I think they're going to encourage people to protest. It seems. I'm not a part of 1958, so I don't have any information on that. just obviously keep an eye out for the statements. Pineapple says hi Pineapple. Too much dividing the fan base. They promised us things that they haven't delivered. Absolutely, they have. Do you think a point and Poch over Ten Hag will anger the fans even more? Because most of the fans see Ten Hag as the hope, whereas Poch will just be disappointing. I think so, yeah, but I don't think it will anger fans to the point of protesting. What do you think?
No. Like I said, there is that disconnect between the club and the fans. And I do think that there is, in the back of their mind, maybe what happened under the ESL, where the fans, there was a lot of backlash. So with the majority of the fan base being so pro towards Ten Hag, it would be like a business suicide to go down the road of Poch. It would basically just be the icing on the
It'd be very tone deaf, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like read the room, lads. Do you know what I mean? It's very obvious what people want. Has Keith got through his comments? No, it just got in a chat. Hi guys, Darlington FC won 1-0 on Saturday. We're out to 8th place. Now we are goal difference away from the playoffs. Where we have won 7 out of the last 10 games. Come on, Darlington till I die. I'm happy for you, mate. I really hope they get the.
Is the manager up for coming to United? Maybe.
Possibly. Can we have some of your players as well? Every poor United performance will put Ten Hag off coming. I'm not sure. I think he already knows what we are. I think every manager in world football knows what we are, from seeing us lose 5-0 to Liverpool, 2-0 to City, 4-1 to City, losing to Atletico Madrid.
I don't like the idea that people say, "Oh, the player isn't going to want to come to United. The manager isn't going to want to come to United." They do want to come to United. The manager will want to come because they'll want to be the one that says, "Look, I turned it around." The player will want to come because I want to be catalyst to help this club turn around. They're competitive sports people. They're not in this job for kicks and giggles. They're literally in it to win, to succeed. And if they feel, well, maybe not, then that's not driven. That's not really that mindset of somebody who wants to win something. That's the mindset of, I'm only going to go somewhere where I feel I might win.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Fergie came in and helped. Well, was a huge part in turning it around with Eric Harrison and David Gill and other people like that. Fergie was a huge part in turning it around, obviously, and the rest is history in that sense. But it's like Ten Hag. That's what's so exciting about football. Ten Hag could come next season, and we could turn it around within the next 5 years and have another 26 years of magicalness, if that's a word.
Well, what was
you know what I mean?
It Ralph that said 3 transfer windows.
Was it Ralph? Did Ralph say that?
Either Ralph or Ten Hag, or somebody said, I think it was Ralph, basically, he reckons it'll take 3 transfer windows, 18 months. I think it'll take a bit longer than that because there's so many holes, there's so many cracks that need filling.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
So I would love it to be that, but I just think so much that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
It's optimistic to think that. But
yeah, I agree.
That's a sports person for you. That's somebody with the mindset. No. We're going to do it in this. They've got a different mentality to us.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Again, there's a spider behind you. There's absolutely no spider behind me. Because if there was, I'd run. Regardless of whether I'm live or not, I'd probably run. Darlington FC has sold their 2 best players throughout the season: Luke Charman to Rochdale and Will Hatfield to AFC Flight for a fee as well. That's no good. Ralph said a minimum of 3 transfer windows.
Yeah, we go.
So does he mean 3 summers, or does he mean 3 transfer windows? Because that's 2 summers.
I was thinking 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I think 18 months is optimistic. I think.
Yeah,
we're not really known for doing quite extensive business in January. We have done business in January, but not really. We're not prolific in January. I think it would probably mean 3 summers.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Thank you guys for tuning in, by the way. I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. For a live stream, and there will not be any watch-alongs for the foreseeable. I do apologise for that. I may make an update video on. I'm not sure yet whether I should or shouldn't make an update video, just to make people aware. But I'm not sure whether I will do that yet. Thank you guys for all the support shown, and I'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. UK time.